Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Healed and Chilled. It's been a few months since our last episode, but this season is starting out with a bang. Today, I am interviewing none other than the lady who gave birth to me, okay? This is going to be my mom. And again, like I always say, we have another awesome and amazing, wonderful special guest. And like you guys know, I like for the guest to have control of the narrative. So, if you would, can you please introduce yourself in your own words from your own point of view, and we'll get right into the interview.
Okay, hey everyone, it's Laydee Tee, and I am the co-founder and CEO of WeUnik World, and we spread textured hair confidence through an ecosystem that includes everything from products, services, workshops, swag and merch, and community. And so that's a little bit about me and what I do. And thank you so much for having me here today, my beautiful daughter.
Yes, you're welcome. So please break down because confidence is a word that I use. It's a word that everybody uses right now. What does confidence mean to you? And then why is it important to have confidence in your hair specifically?
Okay, so what does confidence mean to me? To me, confidence is feeling authentically good about yourself in any space.
Mm.
So whether you're the only one that looks like you, or if you're in a sea of faces who look like you, or from different socioeconomic backgrounds. So basically, being unapologetically you in every space and feeling good about it is what I define as confidence. And it's really important for people with textured hair to have confidence about their hair, especially Black women um, or Black people in general, because our hair, it was even illegal to display our hair. Um, and our hair is such an integral part to how we present ourselves. And for so long, textured hair in particular, regardless of race, has been seen as difficult and hard to deal with. And since it is so closely tied to appearance, um, it can cause people to walk around feeling horrible about the way that God made them. And so I think it's super important to have confidence in your hair because that's a part of, how God created you. And lack of confidence in hair impacts so many parts of our lives in negative ways. And so I want to stamp that out.
Absolutely. So a lot of times when people are creating businesses and things, and you even mentioned it's like close to your heart and things. What about hair care specifically? Because when we talk about the things that specifically like black and brown and darker hue people have had to come up against, there's like skin color, there's like different things as well. So what about hair specifically made you say, okay, this is the problem that I want to tackle, and then the way that I'm going to do that is by the services and products that WeUnik provides.
That's such a good question. So basically, in a nutshell, I'll try to summarize it real quick. My mom left when I was 12, and I grew up in it was a very diverse area, but I was often the only person of color in situations. And I know I felt horrible, especially when my mom left. I didn't know how to take care of my hair. I'm gonna shout them out, Montgomery County, woo woo, which is often in the top 3% of the most diverse areas in America. And still there, I was often the only Black person. And when my mom left, my hair used to look a whole mess, and I felt awful about myself. Um, and many times. And, people say some cruel things. And yeah, so that's why I wanted to create these safe communities, safe spaces, all natural products, and easy to follow, repeatable routines that I needed. And then the other thing, where I grew up, because it was so diverse, we had a lot of non-Black moms raising Black kids.
Mm.
And so I can say with authority that I saw the need to teach people how to care for hair they've never ever encountered before. So that's why it's a passion. I don't want any little girl walking around feeling ugly because she doesn't know how to take care of her hair or because her mom doesn't or her caregiver doesn't.
Right, right. Absolutely. And so, well, of course I know, but for the
Mm.
viewers that don't know, what type of products and services does WeUnik create? And is it just hair products? Is like what exactly is the ecosystem of WeUnik and why is it created in that way?
Okay, that's such a good question as well.
Thanks.
So, so you're welcome. So what's included? Like anybody can create hair products, but our two flagship products are our first baby, which was our Metamorphosis Scalp and Hair Therapy Oil. And then we also created a sister product, our Metamorphosis Moisture Lock Pomade. And together they make for a mean LOC method. Um, but going beyond just that, we also offer curated hair care boxes. Like right now, we have a hot seller, which is our overnight camp care box. So we have that just to make it easier for anyone who cares for textured hair. They don't have to go out, like have experience information overload trying to find what they need. They can just come to WeUnique, purchase a box, and bam, keep it moving. Um, Also, which is I really love this, and this was actually your idea. You're like, Mommy, we have all these great products, to include our sandalwood combs that everybody likes, but we have all these great products, but products mean nothing if people don't know how to
Right.
use them. And so we launched WeUnik World. We rebranded as WeUnik World, launched WeUnik University, and this is where the safe community lives. We offer workshops online, in person, and we have self-paced learning modules. Um, where anyone at any level can learn how to care for textured hair. Yeah, and the most important thing that I hear from our customers and our clients is the community. Like WeUnique offers space where someone can ask a question about how to care for their kids' hair and not get shamed or, judged and not feel alone. Because, hey, I'm Black and I just learned how to care for my own hair in my 40s. So I can only imagine, someone who's new to textured hair, how they feel. And so we offer a one stop shop where you can have your questions answered, order your products, get your combs. Like, yeah. And we are expanding, but that's what we have right now.
Right. So then a two-part question.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned, I think it was the LLC method. What is
Mm-hmm.
that? And then what do you mean by textured hair?
Sure. So the LOC method, LOC is the liquid oil, I'm sorry. Yes, liquid oil cream method. And it is a means of locking moisture into textured hair so that it is stronger, retains length, and does not break as easily as without it. And textured hair is hair that is not straight. Um, so typically 3A to 4C is classified as textured hair. So tightly coiled, loosely coiled. But then WeUnik World, we also expanded to include 2C, because and getting out in the community and talking with people, we found that a lot of people with loose waves also have lower porosity, higher porosity hair, and their hair may benefit from products designed to lock moisture in and increase elasticity. Did that answer?
Yeah, and then a point that I wanted to highlight as well with the lock method, the LOC, is it also talks about like the way that you typically add the products on. So like you
Yes.
start with the
Yes.
liquid, then you go with the oil, then you go with the cream. And so what would
Yes.
that equivalent be for We Unique products? Like what would be considered
Mhm.
the liquid? Would that be water? What would be considered the
Gotcha.
oil? What would be the cream?
Okay. So each this is what I really love about our formulations as well. It took forever to finalize the formulas because I wanted something that worked equally well on all textured hair in the house. So some people their liquid may be a leave-in conditioner or whatever, but the We Unique way of the LOC method that works on all textured hair is we recommend that the liquid is water. at first. And then you follow up with the oil, which is our Metamorphosis Scalp and Hair Therapy Oil. And then we recommend that you saturate the hair in more water and then follow up with our cream or butter, which is our Metamorphosis Moisture Lock Pomade. And why we advise that you work on super saturated hair is because our products really do trap moisture in. And so the more water that's on your hair when you apply the products, the better the elasticity. And now once someone goes through our LLC method, they can tweak it to make their liquid be leave-in conditioner or something else, but that's the method that we recommend that works on all textured hair, period, regardless of the grade.
Okay, and so for the LOC method, then the next question is, okay, well, what if somebody has hair that's dried already, like it's flat ironed, braided or something, or blow dried, and they don't want to add more water? Is this something that the product can stay on and you don't have to reapply anymore? Does it depend on the
Mhm.
season? And then how would you recommend just
Mhm.
briefly keeping up with that moisture after
Mhm.
the hair's been wet?
Right. So, good question. So, once the moisture is locked into the strands and you've done the heavy moisturizing with the water, if you want to maintain the style and just reapply to have a little shine or a manageability, um, if you have like a flat iron hairstyle and it's summer, I recommend a couple drops of the oil. Just put it on your hand, rub your hands together, massage a little bit into your scalp, and rub it into your strands. These products are super, super highly concentrated, so a little goes a long way. And I like to say that, and I'm sorry, I didn't create this. One of our happy customers did. That the oil gives a mirror shine. And it causes hair to look so healthy that people mistake it to be a weave. So it gives a mirror shine that does not look oily, greasy, and synthetic. And then when people touch their hair, they're like, oh my God, it feels so light. And so, yeah, that's what I recommend. And then, like, for children's styles where a lot of attention tools are used, like scrunchies or barrettes, I recommend using the pomade, just a teensy, teensy bit of pomade at the tension sites. And then I like to lengthen my flat iron styles. I will often add pomade to my ends and yeah, so that's it. When you need a little bit of shine, add the oil. When you need a little bit of taming or extra protection for high tension spots, add a little bit of pomade.
Wonderful. And so this is for people that know what you're talking about, that makes sense. But for
Mhm.
people that are super, super beginner, that sounds like a lot of different steps, and that could have been
Yes.
overwhelming. So
Yeah.
where is there a way for people to learn like the best practices, the steps to take and things like that? Because especially like it's a big claim, and it's true because I know as
Mm-hmm.
well, but it's a big claim to say like everyone can dip from the same jar,
Mm-hmm.
everyone can access the same products. And so it's like, well, how is that possible? So,
Mm-hmm.
um, where's the first off, like, do you have any stories or scenarios of where you know that that's the case? And then also for people that are way, way in the beginner and they might be
Mm-hmm.
overwhelmed, is there a place or a way that they can learn how to do these things? They can learn how to use the products, they can learn how to take care of their curly, wavy, coily hair type for themselves or their children?
Yes, I definitely recommend that people visit WeUnikWorld.com and from there navigate to our education site, which is WeUnik University. At that site, we have comprehensive learning modules that include step by step instructions on how to wash, condition, moisturize, and detangle textured hair. Also included in each learning module are worksheets, end of module quiz, and the ones that is applicable video demonstration. And then also what comes along with any We Unique University purchase is access to our private community. In that community, questions can be posed, additional instruction can be given, and so that's what we do. And I encourage people, beginners especially, sure, you can watch our YouTubes, which do high level instructions, do include high level instructions. You can do your own research, but I encourage you, if you want curated, fast, quick, easy to apply, easy to learn lessons, you visit WeUnik University. And then, how can do I have any anecdotes about everyone being able to dip from the same jar? Yes, 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 I do. Because I'm a mother of four. Everybody has different hair texture in the house. Um, like we have some low porosity, high porosity, and heck, all of us have different hair textures on even our own heads. We each have at least two hair textures on our head, which is so very common. And so after years of, spending a whole lot of money buying systems that work really well for me, for instance, but not for your little sister, or really well for her, but not for you. And, just, I hate to say it, wasting a bunch of money. I started mixing my own formulas and did a whole lot of research and took care to choose like oils, for instance, that have molecular size that is small enough to penetrate the tightest porosity hair, and oils that are light enough so that they don't overly weigh down and sit on top of a finer hair texture. It took a lot of work. It was over 10 years of research and going to like NIH, John Hopkins, like scientific based studies to come up with this. And another thing, because I can try it on y'all till I'm blue in the face, but I have moms who have called and were like, "Oh my God, I mixed, but my son got his daddy's hair, and I didn't believe you that I could use this on everyone, but it does work on everyone." Like maybe I use a little less, but it works on everyone in the house. And that's how I know, because it's science backed. I researched, I study, and I see the effects. And I get the women mostly coming back and saying, "Oh my God, what is that? Give me more of your hair crack, or your miracle grow." So yeah.
Absolutely. And I wanted to highlight what porosity is because we have
Oh yeah.
people at different levels. So, porosity is, and you can add to this,
Mhm.
just about like how much water your hair takes in. So, if you're wondering, what porosity do you have? An easy way to test that is to take a single strand of your hair, put it
Mhm.
in a cup of water, and then if it sinks to the bottom, that means, I believe it's high porosity because that means that your hair absorbs a lot of water. If it
Mhm.
sits in the middle, you have like a medium porosity. If it floats to the top, that means you have low porosity, and so your hair doesn't absorb water as easily. So understanding the porosity will also help you understand, like, if you might want to do a steam treatment before you do different things, or if you need more deep conditioners and things. So when we say porosity, it's going, or when mommy says porosity, it's going beyond, just the 4C, 4A, and things like that, and really getting into how much your hair actually absorbs water. So I did want to
Yes.
highlight that. I also understand. Go ahead.
Real quick, and I just want to piggyback off of that. That is so very important to understand your porosity when it comes with conditioners and stuff. And I just wanted to reiterate when it comes to the WeUnik World ecosystem. It's good to know your porosity. It's good to know your hair type, but you don't have to, because our products work on all textured hair.
Period. And so I also wanted to highlight that there's a lot of community work that goes into WeUnik.
Mm-hmm.
So this past weekend, now depending on when this is uploaded, it might be a few weekends from now, but this past weekend we were with the Girl Scouts of Nations Capital. So can you walk us through what the importance of community was, and then a little high level about that particular experience in general?
Sure. Um, so like you mentioned, we are partners with the Girl Scouts Council of the Nations Capital, and and we have done work with several nonprofit organizations. And basically, we just come out and we either instruct on how to properly care for textured hair. But in the case of this weekend, we brought the fun, we brought the noise, and we brought the normalization of speaking about textured hair in diverse crowds in an inclusive way that doesn't single anyone out and make them feel one way or the other. In particular, what I really, really, really loved about this weekend was, I was very nervous at first because I'm like, okay, we are presenting our brand, which is focused on hair that is typically on Black and brown heads. And we're doing it in front of a very, very, very mixed crowd. There were a bunch of blonde, straight hairs in the crowd. So I was very nervous at, how was this going to be received? And just like with our first workshop that we did with a group of non-textured hair people, it went over like a dream. It was like magic. And everybody knows somebody with textured hair. So even if they themselves don't have it, everyone can connect in the way that I hate to toot our own horn, but I'm going to. The way that we engage with people and allow people of all walks of life to feel seen, safe, and heard, and remove the taboo and the shame of talking about textured hair and, having mothers come and pull us to the side and almost come to tears and say, I used to feel like such a failure when you made me feel like I'm not so alone. I'm not the only one who's new to this. That's the importance of community. It creates safe spaces for textured hair people and their caregivers. So just expanding safe spaces through
Right.
textured hair care knowledge.
Right. And I think that it's pivotal in an organization that
Mhm.
wants to create confidence and those spaces to be in places where we can
Yes.
build community. Because even
Yes.
regardless of the hair type, those some of the girls that had the straight hair were saying they do the same
Yeah.
thing as the curly hair girls,
Yes.
whether they
Yes.
wear the bonnet or you think I don't
Hmm.
do that already when it came to
Yeah.
moisturizing the hair or
Yes.
and I
Yes.
wanted to highlight the reason why I specifically mentioned that as well is because it wasn't a normal workshop thing. We were in
Mm-mm.
an amphitheater. We did a game show. It was like,
Hmm.
come on stage, like, are you smarter than a, I don't know, and just like it was just a really fun experience. So we were able to meet the children and the parents where they were.
Hmm.
And when it was like tiebreaker time and it was time to do rock, paper,
Hmm.
scissors, the whole crowd was into it. So I
Yeah.
just think it's important to highlight that confidence in hair care, it crosses borders. It's not just about
Absolutely.
whether you're black or brown or somewhere
Hmm.
in between or a little bit light, whatever. It's just a space where everybody can grow
Yes.
and learn from each other. And everybody has, most people have hair at some point. So
Yes.
we did have a mix of questions. So the questions weren't only about curly textured hair, it
Hmm.
was hair in general with a more of a focus into what we
Yes.
specialize in.
And
So, oh, go
that
ahead.
just really, that's what I really love about what we do. Because yes, when you go to our website, you do see we have our standard workshops that, we are prepared to come out and give on short notice. But we also are able to customize experiences that are perfect for the organization we are at. And so I love that. I find that special.
Right. And as
To
Girl
be
Scouts
special.
ourselves, it's always
Yes.
super
Yeah.
exciting.
Yep.
I also know that we do work with like foster agencies and things
Yes.
as well and counties. So it's not necessarily specific to just one type of organization. It's
Mm-hmm.
anywhere that we're building safety for the next generation and the current. Because
Yes.
as sad as it is, there are grown behind women who are twice my
Yeah.
age who don't appreciate their hair because of whatever they experienced or went through.
Yeah.
So it's just about helping everyone, regardless of age, regardless of creed, skin
Yes.
color, feel confident. Because even now, there are some children or women with straight hair that wish they had different hair types. So it's
Yeah.
just about learning to appreciate who you are, how you were created, and then helping you
Yes.
have the education to grow into that. Now,
Correct.
we are coming up a bit on the tail end. I do have some additional questions. However,
Mhm.
is there anything that you wanted to highlight that you have not yet had the opportunity to speak about, whether that's a course coming up, events, a book happening, or something that we should be paying attention to in the next few months, or just anything in general that you think is important to share with the audience.
Well, yes, I am excited to announce that we do have our Confused Parents Guide to Textured Hair book launching this spring. And that will also include a workshop. I'm not sure. We're still figuring out whether that's going to be a self-paced or, we're still not sure what that's going to look like. Um, and also, I just want to, this is not hair related. Um, but I just want, oh yeah, actually, we do have a deal, but that's not something we're working on, but that's not finalized yet. So I'm not going to announce it now. But I just want to share that, guys, this is not my first rodeo. I'm not a spring chicken. And I just want to let everyone know it's never too late to follow your dreams and pivot to the life you deserve. And so, to so many people, me going full in on WeUnik World did not make any sense whatsoever. And the only regrets I have is that I didn't do it sooner. And anyone listening, if you have something in your heart that's tugging on you, something you want to do, a business you want to build, a life you want to build, go for it. There's no time like the present. Go for it. Just press go. Don't look back. Go. That's it.
Awesome, awesome. And for anybody that's curious, where did the name We Unique come from, and why we, and then capital U, Unique?
So the name WeUnik came from looking at my beautiful family of so many hues and hair textures and saying we are a unique people on this planet. So remember, the first target demographic was Black women in America in particular. And so just looking at all the shades, all the hair types, like Black hair is the only hair on the planet that stands up by itself, that can shrink to a half inch long, but really be past the shoulders. So I think that our hair actually epitomizes melanin magic. And that's how, because we're such a unique people. And textured hair is just so very unique and requires its own special care. And then the spelling was just, I'm Gen X. We got to do stuff different. That's all. I just like the way it looked, the aesthetics of it.
Right. And so then what would you say to two different groups? What would,
Mhm.
well, three. Let's go with three different groups. First, what would you say to the older woman or the more seasoned? I like to say seasoned because you get better with age, just like fine wine and marinated meat. So what would you say to the seasoned woman who still feels uncomfortable with her hair? And is trying to get to that space where they're trying to build that confidence to where their hair natural, but maybe the day they do, somebody asks them, like, "Did you do your hair today?" or "Are you okay?" Something like
Mhm.
that.
Like happened to me. Yeah.
Yeah, and so what would you say to that person? What would you say to the mom who is maybe a different ethnicity, and even if they're not a different ethnicity, has a completely different hair type to their child? What would you
Hmm.
say to that mom who's dealing with that frustration, possibly that guilt and even shame we've heard from feeling like, man, I can't even take care of my child's hair? And then third, what would you say to the child who's in a situation where they wish that they were different? They wish that they had a different hair type, perhaps even a different skin complexion. What would you say to those three people right now if they were sitting across from you?
Okay. So to the seasoned woman, I would say, because if she's seasoned, then she lived through the time when afros were the rage, and then textured hair was maligned and seen as protest hair. Um, I would say that it's safe now. It's okay to re-embrace your pride in how God made you. And we have the products and techniques that can help you do it much easier now than back in the day, and that you're beautiful. To the mom who's new to textured hair care, I would say you're not alone. And don't worry, we got you. Don't worry, we got you. Check out these self-paced classes and this warm, welcoming, safe community. We got you. You're not alone. You got this, and you will become an SME in your child's hair. And then to the kid who wishes they were different, I would say, hold on, baby. We're about to publish our Yanni's Crown book that'll just help give you a different perspective. But I say you are beautiful. Um, and to, maybe check out some of our merch that instills pride in how God made you. And yeah, just I would just remind her how special she is. Yes, her hair is unique and different, and just explain and explore the versatility and the beauty in that difference and instill that confidence so she feels good no matter what space she's in.
Right. And I remember that when I had a situation like that, you told me,
Mhm.
you're the only hair type. And I tell some of the students that I work with as well, like 101, like your hair is the only type that can be braided, that can be flat
Mhm.
ironed, that can shrink, that can do all of these different things. And I remember you said you came back and I was doing other people's hair and all that
Yes.
type of stuff. So, the wording matters. And for those parents too, I would also say expose your child to people that look like them.
Yes.
Get
Yes.
them around people so that their definition of beauty is expanded. Like they can
Yes.
see they're not the only ones with this type of hair, and whether you live in this place or whatever, it's just important that you get them exposed to different places and take it as like ET says, look at it as something you get to do, not something you have to do. And
Yes.
a lot
Yes.
of times their stress comes because you don't know what you're doing, then the frustration comes. So when you get that education from WeUnik World, when you get that community as well, you realize it's not actually as hard as it seems. And you
Hmm.
can turn hair day like we do. You can't
Yes.
see, but I have braids that mommy did. It took 2 days, but we found some movies, we found
Hmm.
some shows, and sometimes it's for certain people, it's the one time where it's just you and that other person,
Yes.
especially if you have multiple children. Other people might come and go in the
Hmm.
space. But when it's just you and whoever's hair you're doing, whether it's yourself or someone else's,
Hmm.
that's like a time where it's just you and them for a long period of time. So you can use that as bonding. You can use that as a movie day or a whole day or 2 days or whatever. But and then just compliment their hair as you go along. Alrighty, so before I switch it over to the next portion, is there anything else that you wanted to say or mention before we go into the next portion of the conversation?
Well, I just want to mention that it's so funny you remember that story because that is the impetus behind the book. So that story is what the book is about. And also, I just want to remind everyone that all hair is good hair, especially when it's healthy.
Yeah, period.
Mhm.
Alrighty, so this is the part of the interview. It's like this, it's a little bit shorter than the rest, obviously, but this is the part where I switch it and I pass you the interview microphone and ask if you had any questions for me as the interviewer. Now's your chance to ask.
Well, I know that you do wonderful work with younger kids, and you've had some exceptional outcomes. I especially love when nonverbal children take your classes and they enter the world so confident, like the best versions of themselves. Now, I understand that you have a new offer.
Mhm.
What is that about, and why did you decide to expand?
Wow. So for those of you who are following this journey, you guys know I work with the children, but now I also work with college students starting from that summer to freshman year through college. And I started that because people have been asking me here and there, but on one particular day, a couple of weeks ago, two moms from two completely different spaces, one in person and then one on LinkedIn, asked, "Do you work with college students?" I was like, yes. No, I have never done it. I was transparent though. Like I've never done well, I have in like a work setting, but this is not something that I typically do. However, I know I can do it. And so I took that as a sign. And when multiple people ask you something on the same day, people that, at least as far as I know, there's no way that they know each other. I take that as okay, it's time to expand. And I
Mhm.
originally wanted to work with that age group anyway, but I realized I was a little bit too close to that age group because I was that age group when I
Mhm.
wanted to work with them. And so now that there's a bit of distance between me and my college age, I feel comfortable and confident in it. And now that I know for a fact I can do it with the children, I have that background of working with those high schoolers when I worked at that nonprofit as well. I'm like, okay, let's do it. So now I do high touch one-on-one coaching
Mhm.
with the starting from their rising into freshman year, helping them all the way through graduation because I take the big sister approach in everything. They have enough authority figures. And the thing is, like, high school definitely mattered because that's how you get into college. But
Mhm.
their most impactful years are the least supervised as well. And there
Mhm.
are all different things that children, because in my brain, they're children, but when I talk to them, I say young adults. There's all different things that young adults have to contend with for the first time in college. And they might not be as comfortable telling their parents that, oh, such and such
Mhm.
had to go to the hospital because they OD'd
Mhm.
on something, you know? But I can be that bridge where, because I still look young, I wear the hoop earrings, the rings, I still
Mhm.
stay abreast into like pop culture. I know who Cat's Eye is and all that type of stuff. So I can be that big sister to where when they do come up against those things, they have someone to run it by and be like, okay,
Mhm.
well, I would advise not doing that. But if you are, let's talk about ways to maintain safety. And then there are, speaking of safety, there are other dangers that happen at college
Mhm.
campuses. So understanding how to set boundaries. You don't have to be nice to everybody. If somebody gives you the ick, you know, or they make you feel
Mhm.
unsafe, don't override that because you want to be their friend, because you might end up in a situation that you can't undo. So I am that big sister now to those students to help them make sure that they get out in 4 years, which is what they should be doing,
Mhm.
but also so that they have someone that they can talk to and keep them on the straight and narrow. So yeah, that's what
Mhm.
I do.
Well, I love it, and it's very needed, and it's very timely. Um, can I ask another? Do we have
Yeah,
time?
yeah,
Okay. Let's see. How? Okay. How come you joined me in this journey with hair? Because you are also passionate about hair confidence. Why?
so so that's a two-part question. I joined you in this journey because I knew that this could be bigger than it was growing into. And I am a visionary. And so sometimes, a lot of times, I can see things that other people can't see. And I can see like where things can go that people might not be able to see at that time. Because, when I initially proposed the courses, it was a
Ooh,
little bit of like, well, I don't want to do the courses. I
a
want to
little bit.
yeah, I was saying that because of the podcast, but there was a lot of, I
Yeah.
don't want to do that. And this is fine with me, and da 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 da. So, I can see things that a lot of people can't see. And so I knew that WeUnik had a lot more to offer than what was being proposed. And I have to be busy doing stuff. Like, I'm not someone who can just because I was like working at this job at this time. This is before I started doing out school really and doing laptop life coach. So I was like, I need something. Like I can't,
Mhm.
because for me, I've always been like, whenever I had a job, I was almost depressed because
Mhm.
the way that my
Yeah.
mind works, the way that I like freedom and things, it just did, I couldn't sustain and be happy only having my job. I need something else to do. Just like in school, I was very active. I don't need to go through my bio. You can check my website if you want to know all that. But like I always had a lot of stuff going on. So I needed something else to do, and I could see the potential that WeUnik had if we opened it up and turned it into a world rather than just cosmetics. Hair care also because it's part of who you are, and I'm a firm believer in wherever you go, you're right there. So whether that's dealing with stuff that people ignore from the past or whatever, whatever. Wherever you go, you are still there. And so that includes your hair. So people like all the celebrities right now, they wear weaves, they wear wigs, and I wear a wig too. So I'm not shading anybody, but I wear a wig because I want to wear a wig, not
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like my hair is ugly or because I feel like I
Mm-hmm.
have to or my hair won't grow. And I want more people to just be able to have options, and more young women, older women, or seasoned women, just men, whoever else there is as well, just to feel comfortable in who they are. Because if you're not comfortable in yourself, you can only be so confident in other things. Like if you're
Mm-hmm.
thinking about, oh, if you're not confident as a person, as a being, you are only going to be so confident in other things as well. So
Mm-hmm.
I believe that if you're confident and you love everything about yourself, whether you want to lose a few pounds or not, if you could still look in the mirror and say, I love this person looking back at me, you show up stronger and more full, and then your cup starts to runneth over. And so I want more people that look like me or look similar to me or have the same thoughts to show up fully. And I think that that requires them having love for their hair. And the last thing, since I do work with children from different places and spaces, I noticed that the brown and black young ladies, the girls, when we play Dress to Impress in Gaming Club, when they are in different areas, they always pick a white skin type. They always pick
Mm-hmm.
straight hair. And I ask them, like, why don't you ever do somebody brown? And I don't make it a big deal, but I do ask, and they say, oh, well, I just like this better. And that hurts because
Mm-hmm.
you're no matter what happens, you're never going to be that white girl with straight hair. And I love my white students too. Like, it's not a
Mm-hmm.
thing against them, but the there's two little girls I can think of that every time we play, they always, always pick white girls with straight hair, and they're darker than me. And so when I see that and then I ask, well, why do you do that? Well, it's because I like theirs better. It automatically makes me think, okay, there's something here. So even though we're further along than we were as a community, there are still little girls who prefer having white skin and curly hair in the game. They're choosing
Yeah.
that. So that's why as well.
Well, I want to piggyback to that. It's not a question, but just you're absolutely right. And it's another reason I was really passionate about the all hair is good hair. And then you added the especially when it's healthy, because the little girl who you are talking about now grows into the woman often who chooses even who to procreate with based on hair texture
Yeah.
potential of their kids instead of how he treats her. And then also,
Yeah.
a lot of grown Black women do not work out and sacrifice their physical health because they are so afraid their hair is going to revert to its natural state.
Right.
Instead of embracing it and creating routines that also support their healthy body, their lack of love for their texture leads to really disastrous choices. So this is bigger. Like when we say this is bigger than hair, it's really, really honest to God, bigger than hair.
Right. And that's not to say that we don't celebrate love in all
Of course,
capacities.
of course.
Yeah, but you know how some people read into
Yeah.
things. That's
It's
not to
one
say
thing to do it
that.
because you want to. It's another
Right.
thing to do something because you hate or you're ashamed of how you look in your natural form.
Exactly. Exactly. All right. Did you have any other questions?
No, this is just wonderful. And I'm so very proud of you.
Oh, thank
And
you.
I just wish you the best. And I just pray your platforms grow so you can reach more hearts, more little minds, more young minds.
Yes, a ditto and same to you, amplified. All right, so at the end, I always like to ask these three cliche questions before we go.
Okay.
I ask everybody the same three questions, and I've been doing that for a few years now.
For a
So,
minute.
yes, the first cliche question is, um, if if you can think about a time when you were in a dark space when you were younger, right? You're like, which one?
Which
I can
one?
tell
Yeah.
by the eyes.
How long you got?
But Just one particular
Yes,
time.
yes.
Is there one piece of advice that you know now that you wish you would have known back then?
Yes. I wish I had learned how ineffective and a waste of time worrying was. Because when I was so focused on being worried about my situations, I could never see the solutions that were in front of me. Almost like that story where the man was stuck on the island.
Hmm.
So I wish I had known, of course, worry, process my emotions, but immediately focus on something that makes me feel better so that I can spot and quickly act on solutions as they
Hmm.
appear.
And for briefly, for those people who
Mm.
don't know what you're talking about with the man stuck on the island, can you tell us what that actually is?
Sure, there was a man, when he reached heaven one day, he's like, Lord, you saw me stuck on this deserted island. I'm telling the
Yeah, I
condensed
could.
version. You saw me stuck on this deserted island and you let me die on that island. And God was like, I sent you a raft to rescue you off that island and you turned it away because it wasn't a boat. I sent you a canoe and you turned it away because it wasn't a yacht. I sent you a yacht and you turned it away because it wasn't a cruiser. So I did send you relief, but you were so focused on what you thought the outcome should look like, you didn't even realize the blessings that were before you. So that's what I would tell myself. Don't worry so much because worry encourages depression, and
Hmm.
depressed people only see more things to feel bad about.
Yes, yes, yes. The second cliche question is, of course, how can anybody keep up with you if they want to learn more, if they want to contact you, if they want to work with you? What is the best way to do that? And of course, I'll put the website and things in the description, but just like if people want to keep in touch to know what you're doing, if people want to stay abreast and things, if they want to work with you, what's the best way to contact? And then what's the best way to keep updated?
So the best way to contact us or me would be through our website, which is WeUnikWorld.com. I am also on LinkedIn. And our social media handle is consistent across platforms. So if so, just search on the at WeUnik World, and they will find us. And then on the website, there is an intake form if someone is interested in booking, speaking, or workshop. Yeah, and then the other way is to purchase a WeUnik University course, and then they'll have access to the community. And I frequently interact with the community directly
All right.
through that medium.
Alrighty, and I'll just spell it out, even though it'll be in the description. We Unique is
Oh, yes.
WEUNIK and then World. So that's WEUNIK. All right, and then the last question, is there any person, place, or organization, because the internet works in mysterious ways, just like the universe. So is
Mm,
there any person, group, organization, whatever, that
mm,
if this interview were to come across their desk, that you would say, "Hey, I really want to work with you. I really hope that this particular organization, person, group, whatever, contacts me to work with."
mm. I've never thought about that.
Most people say that for that question.
You know who it used to be, but that's no longer the case. So, someone who is a really vocal supporter of Black businesses, Kathy Hughes. I would want Kathy Hughes to come across this and say, you know what, this is a brand and a story and a couple of women I want to get behind and I believe in and
Mhm.
help push us across her vast network.
Alrighty. And then in closing, can you leave us off with any words of encouragement, any thoughts, or anything you're like, oh my gosh, I wish I would have said this? And then we're gonna wrap up.
I would just like to remind people, I know there's a lot of chaos in the world right now.
Mhm.
There's a lot of things competing for our attention. And so I would just advise people to turn off the devices from time to time, get out in nature, soothe their nervous systems, um, and just keep going. Keep focusing on your glass being half full and taking control of what you can control and building the life of your dreams. And just keep going with a smile.
Alrighty. Alrighty. It was a pleasure having you on, Mother, Laydee Tee, Mommy. And I'm going to give you, like I give all of my guests and my students, a signature round of applause
And
for
I am
a
giving you one as well.
thank you for a wonderful conversation. Of course, you're always welcome back. And for those who want to stay in tune or in touch, the links and things will be in the description. I thoroughly enjoyed our conversation, and I'll see you guys for another episode of Healed and Chilled once we have one posted. See you guys later. Bye.